Welcome into our first edition of Double Coverage with Michael Emami.
And Asia Cymone Smith, happy to be here.
Yes, very excited to kick things off here. And speaking of kicking things off, Asia, we've got a lot to talk about today. We've got Sunflower Showdown. We've got high school football coming up on Friday. But I want to lead things off with the team that's playing its first noon game of the season, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh my goodness, what a time to be alive. We finally get the trio we've all been waiting for between Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown, all united. I mean, how excited are you to see those three together?
I am so excited to the point where I'm shaking. Because I'm
tell.
very calm and stoic right now on the screen. I'm shaking.
I can see it.
Yes, I think it's great to have, number one, that we heard interviews with both Hollywood Brown and we heard interviews with all three of them, really, but we heard interviews with Hollywood Brown and with Xavier Worthy. And both guys were like, hey, it's great to get the gang back together. It's great to get the pack back together. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, it really is. I mean, you could just feel a different vibe in the locker room. When we showed that yesterday, you could just feel a different vibe, a different, sense with the group, because it's like they got their guy back. And after serving that 6-game suspension, Rice has proven that he is the most, influential weapon in that receiving core. And I think they're going to be really successful with him back against a Vegas team that has historically always played Kansas City close in every matchup, especially last year, one of which was for Vegas was a 2-point loss. The other one, I believe, was a 6-point loss. So I don't think this Sunday is going to be any different, and it's great that they have all their guys back, Asia.
Yeah, and we already saw the difference it makes when Xavier Worthy returned from that shoulder dislocation.
Yeah.
Their offense just significantly improved then, and I feel like now getting Rashee Rice, it's going to make an even bigger difference. So really looking forward to seeing him on the field. And of course, you have to look at the numbers. Not to bring her up, but you know what Taylor Swift says. She's very into numerology, and when you add these numbers together and you get a perfect whole, it's meant to be. And that's exactly what we see. Xavier Worthy actually tweeted it himself, probably because, Taylor Swift mentioned his name and he was feeling the excitement of that. And he added their numbers together. Xavier Worthy, number 1, Rashee Rice, number 4, and 1 + 4 = 5. Hollywood Brown is 5. So basically that just means that this is meant to be, and we're just going to see a whole new offense. And they're going to win everything.
I have no idea the point totals and what this weekend's going to look like, but I will tell you, I'm very excited. I'm very excited that this game is going to be at home at noon. I mean, it's going to force people in Kansas City to get up a little bit earlier for the first time. They're used to those 3:25 p.m. kickoffs and those primetime games. This week's going to be a little bit different. Although I would argue this game could be, I know Vegas doesn't have the record. They don't have the talent and personnel quite, like they did in the past. But even though Geno Smith looks solid this year so far, few skips in that. But I just think that this game is going to be a lot better than what people are going to be giving it credit for, because when you have a Vegas team that has historically played KC close, that really has to do with coaching, not just players and personnel too. So I think this one's going to be a game that could potentially have some primetime plays, primetime factors into it, and I'm excited to see how it goes, especially because I think when it's against the Raiders, it's always loud, even though they're no longer in Oakland. Vegas, I think it still carries that same persona,
it definitely
so to
does.
speak.
It definitely does. And when you go to Arrowhead Stadium, I mean, you were talking about how they've had later kickoffs, but I think no matter what time the Chiefs play, the fans are going to show up at Arrowhead bright and early. So no problem with the noon kickoff. It's definitely going to be a packed house, and they just thrive at home. So I think they're going to do great, and especially coming off of the win against the Lions. That was an incredible performance, historic performance. If you remember, no turnovers, no penalties, and only 1 punt. That's insane. So I feel like they're doing really well right now, and I definitely think that they're going to be riding that momentum. And one concern, though, is the running game for the Chiefs. You've been talking about this every week on KSN, basically, and we've been talking about it, but they haven't gotten past, the running back specifically, haven't gotten over 100 yards on their own this season without Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He's been the team's leading rusher all year long. No surprise there. I mean, Mahomes is going to run when he wants to run. Yeah. But I don't feel like there needs to be that big of a concern about the run game because the receivers are thriving. Not only are we going to have this trio back, but all of the guys early in the season, even if they were losing, they're proving that they have the pieces. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster has been doing great. You have Travis Kelce, who somehow is still finding ways to make plays, even though everybody is coming for him.
Standing on his head last week.
My goodness, a slow motion headstand. That was crazy.
Headstand.
Glad he's okay. Glad there was no injury there. And then also Tyquan Thornton, another receiver. They've all been doing great. So, I mean, I feel like there's no need to worry about the run when you're working with what works for you. But I know you really are looking for that run.
We have our first disagreement on double coverage, ladies and gentlemen. Our first disagreement. Make note. Yeah, I think that the running game has to be there this week. I think if you're going to pick one week where it's going to really have to come to fruition, it has got to be against Las Vegas. In particular because, number one, I think Mahomes has gotten away with a lot on his own without getting hurt. Leading this team in rushing is not great. The offensive line has been decent at giving him some time, but I also think that there's a problem there when you have, instances weak at tackle, the penalties that added up, the holding calls that added up. It's just a matter of time before he, hurts his ankle, hurts his calf, hurts his hamstring. So those are all concerns for me. I really need to see a solid ground game because you have to mix it up. And that's ultimately what's going to make the play action so effective moving forward, is when you get a quarterback that is capable of running, but you already have a strong run game with a Pacheco or with a Kareem Hunt, and you have a guy that's versatile and can get you, 20, 30, 40 yards through the air and maybe 80 to 100 yards on the ground, maybe not every single week, but at least 2 to 3 games throughout the season, you have that threat. And right now they don't. And this is a week where I'm really looking for them to establish them as a running threat.
And I agree. I definitely think that they should be more versatile on their offense. But at the same time, Andy Reid was talking about this earlier this week. Mahomes wants to win, and he's going to do whatever it takes. And if that requires him to be running the entire game, he's going to run. He's going to make the plays. You can't stop him. The one thing, though, that Reid mentioned is he needs to know how to get down when it's time to get down. And so hopefully, we saw those ankle problems in years past, but hopefully he's kind of been learning on when to make those plays, when to take that risk and when to not take that risk, and then also just getting down in time. But I feel like, we got a division rivalry. I feel like it's going to be such a good game, and I don't know if you could get Mahomes to stop rushing. He's
competitive.
He is.
It's what
really
he is.
Competitive. And we saw, but on top of him, we saw how fast the whole entire team is.
Yeah.
After the Lions game, when they got into that scuffle, I've never seen anyone run so fast like they did to Juju when that fight broke out. So, they've been practicing. I'd take that as like a little drill practice for how fast they can go. Yeah. And I feel like they're going to use that training, that hardcore training in this matchup. What do you think?
Right now, they have no choice. So that's basically where we're at. But I think, when you look at the physicality of really this offensive line that Kansas City has, when you take away the penalties from Juwan Taylor, he's looking pretty solid so far this year. You can see he's improving every single game. The Jacksonville game, he looks solid. I remember people were calling for him to be cut prior to that. He goes back into his hometown and shows out, even though the team didn't come away with the win. And so, you're seeing small tweaks and improvements across the board for the Chiefs. But getting back to what we were originally saying with Rashee Rice, this is 3-3 to me. A lot of people were like, okay, they're underperforming. They're not going to make it. They're not going to, they're going to be 10-7. They're going to be 9-8. They're going to be, maybe, if they're lucky, 11-6. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case because now they have all their injury problems solved.
Yeah.
They're going to get the running game solved. They've got their star receiver back. So could they potentially win 6, 7, maybe 8 in a row? I think so. And so we're going to see the old Chiefs come back, and I think that's going to start this week. I don't want to jinx it, though. I've been historically bad at jinxing things. So, I did pick against the Chiefs last week, right?
We made that mistake.
We
made that mistake, and we've learned from it.
Julia made the mistake, too, but, she wasn't able to admit it. We had to call her out.
She turned the blame on us.
Yes,
that was crazy.
Exactly.
That was crazy. We don't want to go back and talk about all her other picks,
yes.
do we now?
But she is perfect. She is perfect on Sunday Night Football on picking the opposite team. And then, the team that she doesn't pick wins, and she's now doing it on purpose, which is good because, there's some luck there.
So next, we've learned that we always pick the opposite of Julia. Love her to death. Love her to death, but she helps us learn.
Yes.
But going back to the Chiefs, I do feel like their record doesn't speak for how decent they've actually been looking. They have all the pieces.
Yeah.
It's just time to put them together and get those clutch wins. And they did that back in 2021. Started the season off very similar to this year with a rocky start, and then went and still made the playoffs like they do every year. Still won in the first round like they do every year. So I feel like they're going to be fine no matter what.
I agree. 23-17 is my final score. Who do you got?
I got 28-17. Going for the Chiefs. Can't go against them at Arrowhead.
Going for the Chiefs as well. Arrowhead Stadium should be fun at noon this Sunday. And with that, we're going to take a really quick break, but we'll be back right after this. Welcome back. Sunflower Showdown time, Asia. We've got K-State and KU in one of the most anticipated matchups, at least in the state of Kansas.
Sunflower Showdown.
Yes,
Ready.
exactly. Just like that. Both of these teams with, some good and bad coming into this one. In particular, K-State, who I do want to start with. It really hasn't been that bad of a season. This team could be 7-1 right now. I truly believe that. Or 6-1 right now. I truly believe that. And the reason is because every single one of their losses have been by 6 points or less. And I hate that because 2-4, you've got a situation where you're basically underperforming. You don't have a shot at the CFP, but you have all the talent stacked up. I go back to the Baylor game. If Jace Brown kept his helmet on, he would have strutted that thing in for a touchdown that would have won the game. You look at Iowa State, you say, okay, maybe we could throw that game out.
Yeah.
But then you look at the blocked field goal against Baylor, and you look at how things have gone so far this year. You look at that game against Army where it's like one play doesn't go their way. It's like, dang, like tough. And so I really do feel like this team has the capability to be successful down the road. I don't know what the transfer portal is going to look like. I don't know how the roster is going to stack up next year. But if I'm a K-State fan, I'm looking at that record and I'm going, gosh, what it could have been.
Yeah.
Any more positive takes to, kind of lighten that up a little bit? I know I made it sound like it's doomsday.
No.
But, I feel like they have the ability to be tremendously successful, and they're just not right now.
No, you made some pretty good points. You said they definitely could have a more positive record, and I think that's an important thing to say. I mean, Avery Johnson has done an incredible job at 62% pass completion rate so far this season, so that shows you that he has the talent. They have the receivers. They have the running backs. They have all the pieces it takes to succeed. It's just small errors. And so when they're playing KU, though, I feel like this one isn't going to be easy, and it's not the place to make errors, especially when it comes to defense. Their defense is going to have to step up because Jalen Daniels has been doing incredible this season, and they put up over 30 points offensively in every win they've had this season except for one. So, that just speaks for how talented that offense is in K-State. It's going to come down to their defense. And
KU is ticked right now. Got to keep it clean. Ticked. Because you've got Texas Tech and the loss last week, which, again, getting run out of the stadium like that is tough. I mean, it stinks. Mm-hmm. And so, it looked like they were going to make a game out of it, and then the third quarter hit, and it was just like, oh, man. Yeah. Oh, man. Joey McGuire and his offense have been doing that really all year, and they look like they're going to run the Big 12 this year. But they're just so dangerous, and it looked like KU was in that game. And then they just broke away. Yeah, well, you couple that fuel that they have from that loss with, on top of that, they're playing really incredible at home so far. Yeah. They are 3-1 at home. K-State 0-2 on the road. So they have the home field. They have that brand new Booth Stadium, beautiful, and they're showing out so far for the fans in there. And on top of being ticked about last week's loss, they're also, I'm sure, pretty ticked about losing 16 straight Sunflower Showdowns to K-State. That's a crazy statistic.
16 straight. And last year, only by 2 points. So they've been this close every single year. I can just imagine how hungry they are and how angry they are. And they're not going to I feel like they're not going to let K-State come to their house and beat them once again. And they've done so well. Now, it's kind of funny, though, when you compare their records because they both played UCF. They both played UCF really differently. Yeah. Because K-State played better in their game against UCF than KU did. Yeah. But KU's been playing stronger offensively, from what I've seen, in my opinion, in the other games this season. So, but I feel like that UCF game doesn't really matter. And also, you completely, when you throw out all the records when it comes to this type of rivalry because it's really just whoever shows up that day because the fuel and the excitement around the rivalry just makes a big difference. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
I didn't give them enough credit. I said they were 2-4. They're 3-4 because of how well they played last week against TCU. So I just want to put a bookmark and a note on that, especially because of the fact that it was an upset. It was an upset game. They dominated the Horned Frogs. They really did. And that's because everything came together that weekend. And so for KU, that was not the case. Everything fell apart. Mm-hmm. But I think right now in particular with K-State, you feel for Chris Cymone, you feel for Avery Johnson, you feel for that receiving core. They didn't have guys healthy. Dylan Edwards wasn't healthy at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
He got hurt on that kickoff return. Then he goes out and he has the game of his life. So I think at a certain point, I think the defense does have to step up a little bit more. We haven't seen a whole lot of success on that defensive front. Were able to get after the quarterback, but secondary let him down a little bit. And so now it's kind of like, okay, everybody's starting to gel. Is it too late? If you want to make a playoff run, probably. But if you want to make a bowl game and you want to have a respectable season and you want to graduate guys at this point with a smile on their face, I'd say there's plenty left on the table, and they can go out and they can play a really good game against KU this week. But I'll tell you, Asia, Jalen Daniels is not going to make that easy. And as we transition to the Jayhawks, how do you feel about this game being at home for them? I mean, you just said great at home. They performed well, that brand new Booth Stadium. So last week against Texas Tech, trying to turn that page. They get a 2-week break. But how do you think that stacks up?
I feel like they have the advantage definitely being at home. I mean, they've been, again, playing really great at home. But like you said, Jalen Daniels' offense is great, and it's going to come down to K-State's defense being able to step up. But when you look at it on the flip side, K-State's offense, again, doing well. They have the pieces. They haven't gotten every win, but they've always been close. And their downfall has kind of been being able to fight against opposing defenses. And KU's defense, when you look at them, are doing really well on that side of the ball. And we saw that in that game against UCF. Now, that was probably one of their worst offensive performances this season, but defensively, that was one of their best. They had a fumble, recovered 3 yards from the end zone, took it in to score near the end of the game. They pulled ahead because the way their defense was able to play. And so K-State, yes, their offense has to still play hard against KU's defense, but it's going to be also tough for them to play against KU's offense. I feel like I'm going back and forth saying offense, defense, but the offense has to play hard against the defense, and the defense has to play against the offense. That's basically the point I'm making. I hope I made that very, very clear.
Yes. The other thing I will say as well for KU is it's a matter of time. I mean, they've been trying. I mean, you sort of see with head coach Lance Leipold the transition of the program to becoming I don't want to get ahead of myself, becoming kind of a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And, okay, we're not talking CFP just yet, but we're moving in that direction. We're moving in the right direction. I think Jalen Daniels got the ship correct. He righted the ship. He's putting them in a position to where they are. Yeah, righted.
He righted the ship.
Righted. How do you... Is there a past tense word on that?
He says righted. He righted. He rode?
He rode? Right the ship.
Oh,
correct.
I'm thinking he's riding
the ship. Yes, riding the ship. He wrote
the ship.
He's moving them in the right direction. Yes. And so that's, to me, that's...
We have great grammar over here.
We do, yes. We're both journalism majors.
We both have master's
journalism
degrees.
Yes, master's degrees in journalism. But yeah, so I think that the point is he's got them in the right spot. And so, dual threat quarterback. I don't know where he's going in the draft, but that 500-yard game really encapsulated his success story with KU this year, just because of how, and really his entire career, is because he is so versatile and so dangerous that he has made this Jayhawks team so much more successful, and he is up there recruiting. I don't want to say it's one guy. It's Leipold. It's, how the culture has gone. But so far that he's done fantastic. And I'll tell you what, KU also in a position to make a bowl game this year. They've got a winning record. They're respectable. I don't know if CFP is going to be the right conversation to have right now, but still, just like with K-State, they've got a chance to get there and to potentially get an extra game for their fans.
I mean, you said a lot of great things there, but I can't lie. I'm still stuck on, not the righted. I'm not stuck on the righted.
Yes.
Well, maybe I am since I mentioned it. But I'm actually stuck on you mentioning Jalen Daniels going to the draft, because that made me think, wow, is it finally time we get to see Jalen Daniels in the draft? He's been, 6 years at KU, and it's been a up and down career for him through college. But like you said, it's coming into perfect timing. This season, he's been doing so incredible and battling through those injuries. It seems like it's paying off. He's doing great. And I feel like this is so exciting to think about looking ahead at the rest of his career if the draft works out and things like that. I was just kind of thinking, that hasn't hit me, that this is finally going to be the year we get to see Jalen Daniels take that next step.
I'm getting emotional just thinking about it.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I almost went to the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided I wanted to be a journalist. I didn't want to, I had to keep.
She still does backflips though.
I do.
She does backflips.
And I've learned how to kick field goals and extra points. So
Yes.
I got the leg. I could have done it, but, I just wanted to let them have their moment, give them something,
Yeah.
give the players something. So I decided to take a different route. But, yeah, Jalen Daniels, looking forward to it. Makes me think about my potential career I would have had.
We know you've got the speed because you were a track star at the
I did.
Division I level. And I also know that you're very good at picking games.
I have, it's going to be tough, but
Yeah.
I have KU mainly just because they're at home.
Yeah.
And it's hard to beat a team at KU at home so far this year.
I'm going to take K-State on the road. I think they're going to win by 23-20.
He's just trying to go against what I said.
Yes, but you know what? It's possible, and that's okay.
It is. They're
Yes.
both. They definitely have the talent.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We're going to discuss some high school football when we come back. Welcome back to Double Coverage with Michael and Asia. Time to talk some high school football. One of my
Favorite.
I
was gonna say the
have
same.
favorites at this point, I would say, because I don't want to, high school's pretty cool, though.
You gotta love the high school.
Yeah.
It's definitely you're in it.
Yeah.
And you experience it the most, and there's
Yeah.
just so much pride and excitement. So I don't think favorites an overstatement.
Yeah.
Definitely is a great time of year.
It's my favorite segment. I'm gonna come out and say it's my favorite segment. Game of the week. Trinity Andale. Andale has been just blowing people out left and right consistently this season because that's what they do. They are historically a very dominant team, and this week they got another challenge in Trinity. So how do you see this one stacking up? I mean, this could be a really, really tough matchup for them.
It's going to be a tough matchup for Trinity, but I mean, like you said, Andale is unstoppable so far this year. And one thing I love about this offense is, they're really good at running. They're really fast to snap the ball, but they always go for two. I was just thinking about that. Every game you're at, they go for two.
Who needs a kicker nowadays, right?
They don't. That poor kicker, honestly. Sometimes I think about him. But no, I'm excited for them. They're a type of team that's score the most points you can.
Yeah.
And don't take less, basically, all or nothing. And so it's going to be, like you said, a very tough challenge for this Wichita Trinity Academy school because they're going to have to step up defensively, like every team against Andale is. But it's going to be hard. Trinity is 3-3 so far this season, which is not bad, but their defense going to have to work pretty hard this time. They did put up one shutout so far this year, so they do have that to show their defensive talent, and it's just going to have to be all in this week against Andale. But it's definitely going to be a good practice for the playoffs since 3A school. Last season, Trinity lost in the first round of playoffs, so I feel like this is going to be a good test as they get ready to try to make it past that round this year.
And they want to try and finish above 500, and this is going to be the toughest task, no question, as we said last night, for them against this Andale team. Any other games you got your eye on this week in particular?
Oh, yeah, of course I do. I mean, you got to look at Great Bend versus Hayes.
Yeah.
Those are two of the top 5 teams in 5A in the state, in our viewing area, and in the state, actually. I mean, K-Preps has them as second and third. So incredible teams. Hayes is 5-1. Great Bend is perfect record, 6-0. They both have great quarterbacks. They both have great coaches. I feel like they're just an incredible teams overall. Great receivers, and that's definitely going to be pretty evenly matched. I guess if I really, really had to take one, maybe Great Bend, just because they aren't defeated and they are riding that momentum. But I mean, I was there at that first game, Hayes versus Derby, and that was a tone setter. If I could pick a tone setter for one, that game was incredible to win with the touchdown with seconds on the clock and then get the 2-point conversion to win the game. That shows you the type of grit they have. So I'm excited for that one.
I am too, and I think in particular when I'm going to do something a little outside the norm. I'm going history over records because two of these teams, the records, not undefeateds, but Garden City and Dodge, you got Hatchet this Friday. I think it's going to be great. There's so much history there, in particular because of the rivalry. The team that wins gets, I think it's a hatchet. I'm still new here, folks. I'm still new here, but I think they win. They get like a hatchet they get to take back with them, and it's on their Twitter accounts. So I think that one's kind of cool in particular because you have some of that historical significance between the two cities out in the western side of Kansas. But I love Great Bend and Hayes, especially, and I've loved Hayes for a long time in particular because of how tough and gritty of a defense they have. We talked with Coach Crow at the beginning of the season. He was talking about how there were guys that graduated, but he did return a solid core, and he was confident in them, and they have really stepped it up. You got Great Bend. I mean, Ian Premer. I mean, the name speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Headed to Notre Dame. So that's going to be great for him, Division I level, Division I player. So great pick right there for you, Asia. But I got to go history with this one.
All right. I feel like that's also going to be a great one. I love that the history's tied to it. Got to see who takes home the hatchet.
Yeah.
Who?
I don't want to pick.
What
I'm
do they
scared.
do? No, don't. Not who. What do they do with this hatchet after they take it?
I have no idea. I have to ask.
We want to know.
Yeah.
We would be very interested to know.
We're going to find out.
Where do you store that hatchet after the games?
We're going to find. These are the pressing questions that our viewers need answers to. We're going to find out.
Exactly. But I mean, even going back to Great Bend Hayes, just incredible quarterbacks as well.
Yeah.
Daxton Minton for Great Bend and Zane Viegra for Hayes. Great team leaders, just ultimately great programs, great culture they've built at both of those schools. So I'm very excited for all of the matchups that hopefully don't get too much weather issues going on, right?
Fingers crossed. Lightning, stay out of the way.
Please.
Stay out of the way. All right, well, that's all our time for now. Thanks so much for watching Double Coverage with Michael Emami and Asia Cymone Smith. We will see you in the future. But for now, that's all we got. Have a great night.